All right. What is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest. We're coming off a tough weekend. Utah dropped their first loss of the season to Oregon State at Oregon State. Tough home crowd Oregon State's got there. What we're going to talk about today is kind of why it happened, what led to us losing. A lot of it's going to be pretty obvious, but we're going to kind of go into a little more detail on what we were struggling with as a whole. So we'll break it all down, guys. Tough loss. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are still feeling a little down. Just so you know, if you guys are a football fanatic like me, all week we're still going to be putting out Utah Utes football content. It should drop around 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time every day. So just keep an eye out for it. We're going to get you guys a lot of content. I know it's a tough loss and I know a lot of people are probably feeling pretty down, but don't stress. We're here. We're here to go through the struggle with you guys. Should be a lot of fun this week talking about it, talking about what's been going on with Utah so far. We'll talk about this week, but today we'll recap the game, Utah versus Oregon State. What happened? What does Utah need to do going forward to bounce back to correct some of these mistakes? So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll talk about it. Like the video, that helps get it out to more Utah fans. Comment below. We love seeing you guys be a part of the community and engage with the videos. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, guys. Share the video with someone. No further ado. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about Utah versus Oregon State. All right, guys. And why did Utah lose? Utah loses 21-7 to Oregon State. What happened? Why did we lose this game? It was a tough go for sure for Utah. Rough game to lose. We put in a ton of work, and our defense actually played really well for the vast majority of this game. But when I take a step back, we've had a couple days to process this now. To me, it feels like the worry that I've been having, and the worry a lot of Utah fans have been having, is what happens to this team if the defense just can't carry us to a win. And the defense kept us in this game 21-7. This Oregon State team, I think they were averaging like 34 points a game heading into this game. So they're not a slouch of an offense. And the question continued to be, what happens if Utah's defense cannot keep us in the game? And we learned. And maybe the better question is even, what happens if this offense really can't get anything going and the defense has a hiccup or two? And I wouldn't even say that's the correct way to look at it, that the defense had a hiccup. It was the defense didn't play perfect, and it gave and our offense couldn't do anything. So it was like, you can't expect perfect defense every time. If you guys are expecting the defense to pitch shutouts every game, that is unrealistic. That is impossible. No defense has ever done that in the history of football, playing good competition. So just to give you guys an idea, we let up 227 passing yards, one TD, one interception, a little under a 60% completion rate. They went 15 for 26. So pretty decent against the pass, right? Like, that's not a bad stat line for our defense to have go against them. So you can't say we let up a ton of passing. I think for me, where the defense slowly started to crack a little was in the running defense, which is honestly what I thought would be the opposite. I knew they had a good running team, but I thought it'd be the opposite, where our running defense would hold strong and our passing defense might struggle. So 36 carries by the Oregon State rush for Oregon State rushing, and they went 131 yards against us for 2 touchdowns. So what is that average there? 36, 131. Let me pull up the old calculator. 30 or 131 divided by 36. Yeah. They averaged 3.63 yards per carry, which isn't great, right? It's not like they were just running at will on us. But if you were watching the game, what it was is the game kept going. They started, and it was even happening early in the game. They would drag our guys. Like, our guys would be there, and Damian Martinez would go shoulder to shoulder with our guys and take he'd be met for a 3-yard gain, but drive for 6, 7 yards. And you could tell it started to exhaust our guys. And that's what led to some of the, big runs we saw that killed our defense at the end. But seriously, the defense is not where the criticism should be. I want to make sure that that you guys understand where I'm getting at with this. So until the fourth quarter, the defense held this team to 14 points. And until the third quarter, the defense held this team to 7 points. Our defense was not the problem. Our defense was fighting their butts off, and just, you can't expect miracles every damn week, guys. That just doesn't happen. So why did we lose this game? The offense came out and did not break 200 yards. I'm looking at it right here. 57 rushing yards and 141 passing yards. So 198, 99 yards, or 98 yards. 198 yards total. You're not going to win. Kyle Whittingham talked about it after the game. You're not going to win games if you're sub 200 offensive yards. I mean, that's not going to happen, dude. At least not consistently. Like, the defense took a good to great offense in Oregon State and limited them to 21 points. And really, those mainly were at the end of the game. And our offense just could not hold up their end of the bargain. I mean, listen to this stat line, guys. I mean, Barnes got in there for a little while, but Barnes threw an interception, a pretty errant interception too. As much as Barnes put some life into this terrible offense, he just threw it right to the defender. I mean, what was that? All right, but let's talk about the actual stat line for this offense. 13 completions on 31 attempts. So 13 divided by 31, that's going to be a 41% completion percentage. And Nate Johnson, who was the quarterback for most of it, went 8 for 23, which is a 34.7% completion percentage. Nate Johnson barely broke 100 yards, 101 yards, had one touchdown that was kind of in garbage time to Thomas Yasmin. Nice to see the tight ends get involved a little finally, but rough game by this offense, guys. Not what you want to see. Like, and Jalen Glover was really the only offense we had. 16 carries for 58 yards, so a little under 4 yards per carry. Our team in total went 32 carries for 57 yards. That's so bad, guys. It's so bad. 1.78 yards per carry was our running attack in this game. And we couldn't throw either. I mean, I've seen Utah fans all over Twitter. I've seen Utah fans everywhere talking about how that's probably the worst offense we've ever seen from this team. It's the worst offense I've seen, like, in one game since covering this team, and I've been making videos actively since beginning of 2021. So, a lot of games, like 30 games, 30 plus games, and I have never seen. I mean, the other performances that are this bad are basically this season. I mean, it's been bad this season, but it hasn't been like this. This was pretty embarrassing. Rough go here for this Utah team. Just tough to watch. Tough to watch. All right, and just in summary, before we get out of here, guys, you can't expect your defense to win you games completely. You can expect a really good defense to make up for a subpar offense. But what we saw was a really, really good defense, elite level defense that could not make up for an anemic, non-existent offense. 200 yards, guys. That's 50 yards a quarter. That's like 20 yards an average drive or something like that. It's so bad. You guys know that we're watching the game. Like, outside of a few chunk plays, like, think about it, 58 yards or something like that to that pass to Thomas Yasmin, whatever it was. I mean, and then the Devon Vele catch. I'm just going to say what those numbers are. It was like 40 yards of Thomas Yasmin. It was a good 25 yards on that catch from Devon Vele. 20-yard run by Jalen Glover. I mean, that's almost half the yards in the entire game, guys. Crazy. You can't expect to win games like that. So I don't want to be super negative and just harp on it, but I'm sure it's really good that we have the opportunity of the bye week because one, that means more of our depleted roster from injuries could come back, right? And just to touch on it, since we're talking Utah, Oregon State, sucks that Logan Fano looks like he suffered a bad injury. I'll touch more on that later. I haven't looked into the info on how bad that is, but it looked bad, especially considering he was coming off an ACL. Not good. And he has looked awesome all year. And he was really these past 2 games coming into his own and looking really special. So that sucks to see, dude. But hopefully we can get some time for our depleted, injury plagued roster to kind of refresh, get back on the field and retool this offense, whether it's the players, whether it's Ludwig, whoever it is. And I really don't give it. I'm not trying to blame specific people. It just needs to be better. The offensive line sucks. The receivers are dropping passes. And when they're not dropping passes, they're not creating a ton of separation. The tight ends have been grading out terribly on PFF all year outside of that one big play to Thomas Yasmin and one nice throw to Miki Sukataraga in the Florida game. It's been nothing. So they need to get better. That's what I'm going to say. But we're going to be here with you guys all week. I know this is a bit of a rant, but I'm sure you guys feel frustrated too. And I think right now I'm not as much angry as I am like, hey, it's just got to be better. We're 4-1. We're 4-1 right now, guys. That's pretty damn good considering the offense we put on the field. So let's be happy with it. Like the video, comment down below. What do you guys think? Anything I missed? Subscribe to the channel, share the video. I'm out. Go Utes.